Welcome to Marital. I don't even know what my hair looks like right now. I'm putting it down.
Welcome.
Welcome to Marital 8. I'm Stacy.
I'm Douglas.
I have to do a thing.
She has to do a thing to get us on the Instagram.
We got a little delayed tonight because Instacart sucks.
Is anything Insta tonight is causing us disdain.
I don't know about that, but the
Prince.
Instagram hasn't pissed me off yet.
Lipton instant soup. It's pissing us off. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's just the one thing.
Our loyal viewer Tracy is saying hello, peeps. Hello
Trace,
to you. Hopefully
on?
you had a day of recuperation and relaxation from home redecoration.
I don't even know what that means.
I'm speaking in excitations.
Well, there you go.
And Bible quotations.
Live video, audience, public. What is tonight's episode?
Tonight is 155. It's alive with 155.
Okay, so you got to get them started about what we're going to talk about tonight while I pull this up because it's just hilarious.
Okay, first and foremost, we spent we had the lovely, handsome, and talented Wesley Gear over the weekend, and we just dropped them off the airport. But what we didn't get to last night was our amazing binge watching situation over the weekend, which was Love After Lockup. Now, folks, you think you know reality TV, but you've never. You hold my beer.
This show is okay. First of all, we started watching it. Tracy's got something to say. LOL.
She says, "LOL." Working. I did have a good day working, and no home improvements.
Well, that's good. So hey, shout out to Cassie who's watching on Instagram. So the difference between Instagram and the other platforms, yes. I can see who's watching us on Instagram.
Oh, you bunch of lurkers.
Cool.
We can see you on Instagram,
which is kind of cool. But I wish I had my iPad right now because it would be super helpful.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll remember that.
So in any case, I'll manage the Instagram for today, and you manage that, and we'll move the iPad out. So we started watching Love After Lockup, and we had talked to you guys about the season we were watching, which was we just threw on because we have YouTube Live. By the way, Hulu. Whatever Hulu it is that has the live television, the UI is way better than the YouTube, don't you think?
Because it kind of remembers what you were doing and things like that.
It's just a better UI. But we had the YouTube TV premiere thing, whatever it is, so that Doug could watch football this season. We all know how that turned out. So anyway, we started watching Love After Lockup, and then we started the other day. We were like, oh well, are there more seasons?
Yeah, we needed something.
It's hilarious, and we like to yell at the television. And here's the thing: it has to have enough of a hook that we get into it, and Doug doesn't get up and leave the room and go do something else. Because these shows, if you're watching it by yourself, just sad.
That's good.
But if you're yelling at the screen with someone else,
right,
really fun, right?
And I will tell you that for the most part, the one thing that Stacy kept yelling at the TV was, "You damn fool."
They are damn fools, and we're going to talk about that. Shout out Cassie DeFries says hello, friends, and Lucretia. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Lucretia, right. Shout out. I don't know if you watch it, but Love After Lockup, girl, it's so funny. I can't.
Well, there's a lot of things about it. Like we were trying to decide a few things. Does it make you sad that society is this and that it's entertainment for people?
Yeah, but hang on, there's so many things about it. Like the first one is we know people who have done time.
Yes,
we do. We know several.
Yep.
Either we've met them in passing. We had a friend that we knew for 8 years before we found out that he had done time, and he'd done 6 years. We have another friend that did 20.
Nope.
And these are people you would have no idea. Like there are so many people you encounter every day that have done time. You have no idea. That said, I think reality shows take advantage of people and exploit people.
Yes.
But the people are like, oh yeah, I would like that. But when you're talking about this, we're talking about people that are people that are going to go on a reality show, which by the way, we would probably do.
This is a reality show.
There's enough money in it. We will take some exploitation. But by the way, it's cold as fuck.
It is a little cold. I was gonna check the temp over here, but while we're talking about this hot show.
So these people are being like minorly exploited, but they've signed up for it. And so then you've got the people that are in prison, which, you know, anybody can make a mistake and people clean their lives up. We've seen it. We've also seen people, we've seen it firsthand. Then we've also seen people who can't seem to get their shit together after a prison sentence.
And I've seen people that never went to jail that still can't get their shit together.
And I've seen people that should be in jail that are wandering the streets. So there's that.
I've seen people with their shit together still make some stupid decisions and stupid mistakes.
I can't even with the people with the stupid decisions right now. Like I've had it with people with their stupid fucking decisions. But I will tell you that the show is like, I don't know what the saddest part is. Is it the people that are on the show, like the people that are in prison, that like they've made poor, and like a lot of these people have like 9 felonies. Yeah, like we're not talking about somebody who like, you know, ran a traffic light. Like, okay, so are we talking about and it doesn't seem like they have a lot of violent criminals on there though. It usually, well, like there's no murder convicts.
Well, that girl was like involved in murders, but I think she was just there for an accessory. The girl at the end
she pled down. Yeah. So she pled down, so her conviction wasn't a violent crime.
Yeah.
Or like it was like, yeah, it's usually felony nonviolent crimes that they have on the show. Yeah. But who knows? Like we're only
one
like
guy stole a car. One guy was armed robbery. He had a lot of armed robbery.
Okay, but so like here's the thing: what's worse, the people that make the that fuck up and end up in jail?
Yeah.
The people, which again could happen to anybody. The fucking low self-esteem idiots. Yeah. So here's the thing: like I like the idea of writing to prisoners. I think it's a good like kind thing that you can do, a kind gesture. It's incredibly lonely. And, you know, it's funny because I have, like I said, I have a friend who did 20 years and I can relate a lot to what he went through because I've been trapped in my own little prison for the last 10 years of being sick. I didn't even do shit. I should have done something. But here we are. But like, and I can understand people wanting to reach out and write to them. What I don't understand is sending the money. And like, but the thing is that people that are in jail, and most people probably don't know this, but when you're in jail, everything's done through the commissary. So what they do is they'll take something that's like $1 razor and charge you $5 for it. Like it's like the company's store on steroids. Like, so things are very expensive. And what they give you for free is minimal and the food is inedible. So people buy things from commissary to doctor the food. And then basic personal care items. And I don't even know if you can get shit mailed to you from home. I think you have to buy it from the commissary. I could be wrong. Let's read what Tracy's comment is. Go ahead.
I have a lot of family that has been to jail. Becky's uncle went to prison for a reason that she cannot mention. Why online? But he's now dead. 15 years he served.
I'm so sorry.
Well, people do make mistakes, and people, but to me, anyways, it was like there's people that do that stuff. There's the people that write in and are lonely and they whatever, and then you got
the idiots that watch the show.
Well, you got the idiots that watch the show, which is us, and then you have the idiots that make the show, which are like. So
I don't know which one is worse. Like we're all equally terrible. Is what we're saying.
Yeah, clearly.
Like you can understand wanting to be entertained. You can understand wanting to make money. You can understand wanting to like make a friend. You can understand wanting to have companionship. But some of these fucking things, like you will find yourself invariably screaming at the television.
And you really want these people to like, you know, come out, get their act straight, and all that stuff. I want
a fucking happy ending. In every case, I want everyone to have a happy ending. I want everybody to have peace, love, and happiness.
And that's the thing that gets you. But you could tell that the producers of the show are like, and I've seen it on other shows too, that they just sort of they prey on like these situations and they exploit them.
When you watch the show, it seems scripted.
It does a little bit,
and that's the thing is like that most things are not reality television. They're unscripted television. Let me just tell you something right now.
Well,
what you're seeing here, this is reality television.
Yeah, no retouching.
We don't retouch. We'll have notes of like stuff that we want to like give us ideas for the podcast.
I think there is a thing where you can retouch. I saw it, touch up my appearance. This is new. You want to do it? Let's do it on Max. See what happens. I am Plastic Man. Look at. I'm all like fuzzy.
Shut that off.
And then moderate. And then
off.
None.
Shut that off.
I'm powdery man, baby.
Shut that off.
Oh, that's funny.
Why do you not have mirror my camera on so that it's the right
because I shut it off last night.
Oh my god. So anyway, this is what we look like. Okay, so I wanted to. What was I looking up?
So we were talking about the show.
But I wanted to look up. Oh, the Danny Trejo movie. Danny Trejo prison documentary. So if you want to know anything about the prison system, there's a great Danny Trejo did a film called Survivor's Guide to Prison. He also apparently did something. He's done a few other things regarding the prison experience that are interesting as well. But I had seen the Survivor's Guide to Prison a while ago. It was on Amazon Prime. It talks to you about the about the fact that everything has to be bought through the commissary and how you need a lawyer and so on and so forth, and how very broken the prison system is. And of course, it's gotten worse because it's gotten worse because of the privatization of prisons. I mean, they make money. They're making money.
I mean, that and healthcare. Yeah.
And it's weird because like on the one hand, you've got like you want people to learn the lesson so that they don't reoffend. You don't want them to go back to prison, but people like there are some people that they have nothing on the outside. So the prison, they feel more comfortable in prison than they do in the rest of the world. And I don't know what the solution is. Like, maybe the solution is for everybody to have love and compassion, but some people are going to take advantage of others. Some people are going to do fucked up shit. We don't have enough mental health services in this country, for starters.
I think one thing that has to happen is like stop glorifying, crime and things of that nature.
Stop glorifying crime. And like, let's stop. Like, let's bring people together instead of dividing people, because that's been a big. Right. I mean, that has an impact whether you like it or not.
Yeah, it's funny though. Like even on online or whatever, it's like people are like, oh, I want kindness, and like I think at heart everybody wants that kindness, and they
It's actually funny you should say that though, because like the people that when people make nasty fucking comments to each other on the internet, so like people will say, oh, it's just Facebook. No, who you are on the internet is who you are. It's who you are.
It's who you really are, magnified.
And so when you talk about like you'll see people like be nasty to people online. And then you go to their fucking Facebook profile and it's like, blessed, I love the Lord. Like you just called your neighbor an idiot because they asked like what time the fireworks were. And like, like people ask a simple question, you're just nasty and vile to them.
Because there was a thing the other day, somebody posted Cape Coral Monopoly, and they were saying like everybody's like, oh, what are the spaces and all that. And all I could think of is like, because in Cape Coral, on the Cape Coral residence page, probably twice a week, there's like, what kind of snake is this? And nobody gives a straight answer, actually. But it was a rat snake, so it was like orange, kind of diamonds on the back, and brown, more like light brownish orange. And somebody wrote that it was a Mexican street corn snake, which I thought was hysterical.
So I can deal with like, and it's funny because like when I post, I'm like sarcastic comments welcome.
And
when you, by the way, if you want a serious answer to a question, all you have to do is say sarcastic comments welcome, and nobody makes them.
Nobody will make them.
They don't make them.
Get all...
But like I'm fine with the joke comments. It's when people are nasty.
Yeah. Oh
like
my
people
God.
will go for the jugular, and it's funny because if you look on my personal Facebook page, it says welcome to my timeline stalker in the blue. So it used to be whenever I said something on Facebook in like a public setting, people would personally attack me, and ever since I put that up, I have not had that happen once, because people are like, oh, I'm a stalker if I do that. It has not happened. It was happening to me probably 3-4 times a week, and now it hasn't happened since I changed my profile. Like it just says welcome to my timeline stalker. Since I did that, I haven't had a single problem. So something I definitely recommend.
I've been stalking you for years.
Well, 11 so far. I watch another podcast by a woman who does true crime stories, and she brings a good pesto.
She brings a good pesto to the cases.
Like with basil? She also shows her inmates do makeup for court with things you can buy at the commissary. Her name is Christina Randall.
Right. We're not here to advertise your true crime podcast. And by the way, you're shower typing again. I can tell. Remember last night she was shower typing and it came out.
I don't think she was shower typing. I just think that it's been a long fucking day. She's probably still working. Slippery. That's not my point. The point is that I'm glad that you enjoy other podcasts as long as we're your favorite. I don't know, but I did find some humor, like in guilty pleasure. I would say Love After Lockup is our guilty pleasure, but we're invested in these people.
Oh, and Love is Blind or whatever that one, and Love at First Sight or whatever. Those are So Tracy says, I mean, stalk you, but I am open to it. And what she meant by pesto is perspective. I'm gonna bring a good pesto to this conversation, and she says,
like
"You are my
pesto.
favorite." Okay,
We
so
are.
that
Well, as long
at least we're
as
still
we
on the
cleared
favorite.
that up.
Yeah, at least
As long, so I have so
you have notes on the show, right?
So I have notes, and most of these are Love After Lockup notes. And we're not like we're only on like season 2. We're just finishing up season 2 of Love After, but we watched the last season and season 1 and 2. We're not quite done with season 2.
I have my favorite quote. If you want to kick off with my favorite quote,
go for it.
It's okay, baby. We'll get you some new teeth.
Is that when he swallowed the tooth?
Well, apparently she got out of jail. She saw the guy that's been sending the money.
By the way, he sent her over $90,000, and she scammed people out of over $800,000.
They're called tricks, people.
They call them tricks, and they get the money, and then they buy drugs with it in prison. You can buy drugs in prison,
rabbit,
and you can swap things. If you want healthy food in the kitchen, you give them some crystal meth, and they'll give you some
okay. Oh, excellent. And she's snuggled her cell phone in her vajayjay area.
She said she put it in her upper, like in her puss area, like in front of it or whatever. I would just shove it right up there.
Oh.
I think I could fit like a Razor phone, like a Motorola. I don't think I could fit an iPhone up there.
What if it was in there and it like?
I mean, people get babies out of their puss, right?
Yeah, no, you can put that up there.
I'm not going to, and you're not going to try. But if I was in prison,
ring. All right. So, what happened was.
What had happened was
they can't they can't let you go to the prison and take pick the person up. So they dump them out on the side of the road.
Pretty much usually.
And so these people are standing. They don't have
the cameras there.
They're standing at the edge of the road, and then there was kind of went down, and then there was like swamp or something, right? So the girl comes running across the street, jumps in the guy's arms, puts her legs around him,
and knocks him in the ground.
Knocks him right over. He hits the ground, whatever. So he gets up after that. She's kissing him something. He gets up and he's missing a tooth. And
apparently he was choking on it.
Apparently
while she was kissing him.
It either knocked out of his mouth or he swallowed it. So that was
that's how they started.
And so
that's not the first. There's been 3.
No, and there's been other 2.
There's one guy that has a tooth hole and it makes a little whistle when he talks.
Is it one of the? Yeah,
we call him tooth hole.
And then whistle tooth.
And then I would love to have expensive work done on my teeth. Just not in the budget. And then the other one was the guy that got he got a full set of dentures because he had messed out the teeth that were in his mouth. And his full set of dentures was like too big for him. So
it was too big.
Looked a little bit like a horse. So Trey says there are a lot of drugs in prison and toilet wine. I'm glad you brought up the toilet wine.
Speaking of,
I actually
my older son now knows how to make prison hooch.
Yeah. So it's funny because I don't know if you know this, but when you look up recipes,
other suggested
when you look up like recipes, like any recipe. There's some idiot blogger, and I'm sure she's delightful, tells you a story about like when she went to the south of France and on spring break and college when she went to Wesleyan, and before she had her 3 kids, and she remembers Ronaldo that she met there. They tell this whole like lengthy story. Well, guess what? The same is fucking true if you look up a recipe for prison wine. Telling you all like the different ways that people make prison wine. But I'm going to give you
first get some toilet wine.
Dudefoods.com how to make your own prison wine. No, dude, there's like a whole page, right? But you get yourself like. And what better way is there to relax after a long day of making license plates and trying to get shanked than a nice glass of wine? So that they go on. So the first step is to peel your oranges and toss them in a bag along with a fruit cocktail. So you're going to get yourself,
some fruit cocktail.
You're going to need, all you need is a 1-gallon plastic bag, 10 oranges, 8 ounces of fruit cocktail, some sugar cubes, and 6 teaspoons of ketchup in a towel. So the bottom line is it tastes like orange juice with a mild ketchup zing
flavor.
To it,
it's got a ketchup
apparently, zing. And you have to let it sit for like 3 days. It's airtight.
Then you gotta make it warm,
and you have to run it under hot running water for 15 minutes, and then it's safe for 48 hours. I'm just saying, if I'm gonna make fucking prison wine, I'm gonna get myself a job in the laundry room because I can just put that bag behind the washer or the dryer and
it's a warm
load it up, and I can get drunk at work. In any case, the more sugar cubes you add, the more alcohol, and they get up to 16% alcohol. This one person called for 40 to 60 sugar cubes. So the sugar cubes, it's the sugar.
Well, maybe it's not the alcohol that gets you high. Maybe it's like the diabetic coma that it puts you in.
It could be. But I will say this, you know, a lot of people are complaining about health issues and they still drink. And it's like fucking sugar is inflammatory and alcohol is sugar. Some wines, some alcohol less. I think like clear spirits are okay. Like they don't have a lot.
What about that bucket drink we drank at the Monkey Bar?
Dude, that was like fruit punch. Like that was just nothing but sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar. So anyway, now you know you can make prison hooch if you want to. Well, you can just Google it. You just make that whatever you want.
Just a little commentary.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier just to drive down the store and buy some alcohol that tastes good.
Well, if you're not 21, you might want to make some.
Rather than make prison.
And if you're not 21, you should definitely not learn how to make alcohol on this podcast. What the fuck are you doing watching this podcast?
But here's the thing.
We talk about inappropriate
We just told them the website to make it, and we just told them like basically how to make it. And
well, this podcast is not
they're
for
out
children.
Getting gallon bags as we speak.
This podcast is not for children.
But here's the thing. Maybe alcohol should be hard to make so that people appreciate it more and they don't just abuse it. It's a thought.
Maybe. All right. So,
baby, don't worry, baby. Look at you.
I have so many fucking notes here, and so many of them are not.
Throw one out, like just like use it like a.
No. These are, but I'm trying to get past the notes that I've saved for podcasts and get to the.
I thought those were all love after lockup quotes.
I also have those too. We did learn a new phrase this week from Wes the Rat Guy, which is unrelated to the prison experience.
Oh,
although it might be.
I don't.
He was talking about how someone wanted them to suck start a gun.
Suck start,
which is like putting a gun in your mouth and
that's not good.
Or they shoot you or whatever. And so I thought a suck start was an interesting. That's how we get our sex life going on Tuesdays. Suck start. And I just thought that was an interesting phrase that you all might want to use in your entire life. And then so we talked about relationship red flags, and I'm going to argue that one red flag might be that this person is currently in prison. Like if you're like currently in prison, like listen, it's one thing to be a friend and support someone, or if it's a family member or somebody you're already in a relationship with, but you know, in a perfect world, your relationships would start off with two people who are autonomous. That they, you know, that
they both have something to bring to the table. Yeah.
You know, but I certainly wouldn't rush to enter into a relationship with somebody that's actively in prison, but what the fuck do I know? What are you doing?
I'm getting something ready for later.
Well, we're going to be busy with this for a long time.
All right. Well,
and if you're not interacting with me,
I need to be. Yep.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to take a lot less time. I thought I could.
Okay. Boom. So I wrote this down. Writing to men in prison to run to them when they get out to get in shape. So they get in shape while they're in prison?
No, I think when you run across the road that they drop them off on, that like helps get you in shape.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, because there's this one chick, she's a big girl, and she was like running, and I'm like, that's the trick. You start writing to men in prison when they get out, you run to them, and that's how you lose weight. That's my new workout program. Then the other thing was one of the chicks, actually the same chick that did the running, she's Black and she's a Mormon. And she was like one of her friends. So she's meeting with her like Mormon friends, and they're throwing her like a Mormon shower. And a Mormon shower is not like a shower that other people do. It's like they do crafts and Bible scripture and shit like that. And so she hadn't told her friends that he was in prison, and she's the only Black one. And so she's like telling all her Mormon friends, and she sits them down. They're like, she's in prison, and they're like, what the fuck? And she's a single mom with like multiple kids. And so they weren't necessarily down with it. And so like but the thing is, like, the Mormons kept fixating on the fact that he's not a Mormon. Never mind the fact that he's in fucking prison.
Oh, and she couldn't get a dress that had any red on it because he was a Crip.
But the whole problem with their wedding is that his family is half Crips and half Bloods.
Oh, yes, that's a terrible.
And then he went back inside, and then she needed money, so she sold his Bentley, and he's real mad about it now. He's mad about her selling the Bentley.
I would be.
Oh, and by the way, so she's a Mormon, lives in one state, probably Utah. I don't really know. And he's getting out of prison. So she goes to meet him, and he's like, I can't leave this state. I can't leave the state of California. I can't leave this county. So she uproots her 3 children and moves them there.
Middle of the night.
So I don't know that it was in the middle of the night.
It was in the night. Yeah.
Okay. And so shortly after the wedding, they get married like
not
like a week later
yeah.
after he gets out of prison. They've just met for the first time. She has moved her kids to another state, and he goes back inside.
Right, and she's stuck there.
She's
Los Angeles
now,
doesn't like it. She's talking to her Mormon friends. There was a quote from one of the Mormon friends.
I got lots of quotes. I wrote them all down.
They sort of do these little vignettes off the side, like so they did
like they'll interview a person on the side, and then there's the actual content.
Yeah.
So it's actually a formula.
It is
pretty much the formula is one person who cannot take responsibility for their actions and makes poor choices is in prison, and then you got a person who's an enabler. And a lonely enabler, and they write to them. And then when they get out of prison, they have to tell, or whenever they go out into these settings in the community, be it a jewelry store or a dry cleaner or like a cab driver, and this poor innocent person is blindsided with the fact that they're about to marry someone that they've never met that's currently in prison. And so they try to show these people's reactions, and everyone is so nice and so understanding. They're like, oh, anybody can make a mistake, except the people's families are like, what the fuck are you thinking?
But that one person that they always like they'll go to the dress fitting shop or they
unnecessarily tell them.
And they unnecessarily tell them. So they're like, they're trying
to ramp up the drama.
Yeah, they're trying to ramp up the drama. But everybody's like super supportive. Oh, okay, well, that's different. Okay, let's like the restaurant people, the jewelry store guy with the rings, or like the car salesman. Like there's always somebody that comes in that they like on the outside that they try to horrify.
The thing that's crazy about it for me is the people that I know that have done time, and again, we know many that like they are kind of like they're not necessarily upfront about it, and understandably because people will judge them, and then like they tell us, and we're like, we want to hear about, like, we're fascinated by it, but we're like, okay, well, are you planning on doing that again?
Right.
If they're not, that's cool. But the problem is so many people reoffend and go back in, and it just goes to show how fucking defective the whole fucking system is.
Right.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these fucking idiots entering into these relationships with people who, like, I don't care if you're in prison. I don't care what your situation is, be it, sobriety, like, get sober, then have a relationship. Get out of jail, then have a relationship. Get your divorce, then have a relationship. Let's
get your shit together, and then
concurrently fuck up.
So I wanted to get back to the Mormon situation. We haven't yet.
So Trace says gross about the toilet wine. She says, but they have something in common, maybe loneliness. And then she says, what an idiot. Well, you're gonna hear more.
We can hear more.
You're gonna hear more.
But so they interview her very white Mormon friend on the side. She's like, I love Deirdre or whatever her name was, and it's like, I always wanted a black friend, and so then as it like unfolded, it was like it was like she almost like I always wanted a puppy, like she wanted a black friend, so she became friends with us. So here's the thing about that the girl for the Mormon that married the Crip, gang member, Crip, not a crippled person, because that would be mean to say.
No, we wouldn't call you a Crip if you were a crippled person. I would call myself a crippled person.
She was like, she had her faith. She kind of knew like she shouldn't be doing this, and it would primarily because he wasn't Mormon, but like she was always on that edge. Oh, am I doing the right thing? She's driving 700 miles to get him out of jail. Should I just turn around? Like she was this close.
I will tell you what every one of these fucking people needs. Every one of these fucking people needs. They need to be friends with me, because I will fucking tell them. They're going to hate me because I'm going to tell them exactly what I fucking think, but they need to be friends with me because I will tell them. Like, yes, you're being a fucking fool. You're a fucking idiot. What the fuck are you thinking? And it's not specifically, it's not because there are relationships of people that have done time. It's they chose to enter into relationships with people that are in prison and enable them and give them money. That's the part that I have a fucking problem with. But then they just do all this crazy shit and we're laughing at them. Trace says, yes, recidivism is a great theory, but not really how the system works. Yeah, I just, it's just so many crazy fucking things. So, I got to get back to Mormon soaking another day. We can't even talk about that, but look up Mormon soaking because that shit's hilarious. Shout out to Pam. I see you over on Insta. Good to see you. And post. So the one chick, I forget which couple this was, but it was post prison sex. They had sex in the shower. Remember?
Oh, that was the dude. The
girl bought a house because it's hard to rent. This is
that was the Tampa girl.
It's hard to rent a place when you have when you're a felon. A lot of people don't want to rent to you. So she bought a house so that her prisoner would have a place to live.
They were talking back and forth for 3 years.
So her inmate comes out of prison and then they have sex in the shower. and she says, there's definitely room for improvement. He needs to work on his stamina. Don't worry, he did with other chicks. So this nice girl, idiot, this nice idiot,
the house. She had everything
like
ready for him.
Bought a house, has everything all ready for him, got him clothes, they all buy them things, phones, cash, cars, house, you name it. They throw them parties, the whole thing. And then he goes off and fucks some other girl and doesn't come home all night and all that stuff. Like, kick his ass.
Then wonders why she's mad. Why are you mad?
Did they kick him out? No, they continue to go on. And one of the things that came up was I will loop back to that one another day. If you can't, this was a quote from one of the Love After Lockup people. If you can't respect me at my worst, just leave because I'm horrible all the time. Which I think I should just. That's like my model. If you can't,
I would like that on a shirt.
If you can't love me at my worst, you can't have me at my best because I'm horrible all the time. I love it. I'm gonna make that a T-shirt.
That's a good shirt.
What the hell is going on now?
What's up? Fast and Furious down the street.
Well, there you go. What is the sound of a tiny penis? What, I wrote that down. I just wrote the sound of a tiny penis.
Because we were out somewhere and there was one of those mufflers like that just ran by.
Oh yeah, that's the sound of a tiny penis right there. Then there was a guy a chick on the show called Lalu.
Lalu?
Yeah, it was one of the characters on the show. I forget which one, but because I can't keep all the names straight. We
end
up giving them all nicknames. There's too many people.
Damn fool.
So one of them goes, "I will kill a bitch in Jesus' name."
How it's so absurd that like that's where the comedy. Like I'm not laughing at these people,
but like
I'm laughing at the absurdity of it.
Like I feel like it's like when the news interviews people, they're like, "Let's find the biggest idiot in the neighborhood to fucking interview." P.S. I've been on the news.
That tree was going
3 times. I've been on the news 3 times and interviewed.
That tree was going to come down regardless of the storm.
Can we talk about this? I've been on the news and interviewed 3 times now.
Yes,
does that mean I'm the biggest idiot they could find?
Oh, they went looking for you.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then we all know someone who, well, that's the thing. We all know somebody who's dumb enough to do this, like to write to somebody and give them like a bunch of money.
Yeah, it's the giving them money that like writing, you write, whatever, support people, keep them busy.
And then I guess one of the women says that, that's the same chick, the one that bought the house for the guy that cheated on her. They were supposed to get married on the beach in Tampa. And they get there and she's dressed and she's like all upset because she's getting ready in the bathroom of a restaurant. And it was probably like
she's crying and she's like, I didn't think my wedding, I'd be getting ready in a restaurant bathroom. And she's crying.
Well, and then she's wearing like this hoochie dress. And then she goes out on the beach and she's like, I can't, please don't make me do this. So she's like crying. She said, I want to marry the guy on the beach because she wants like her friends and family there or whatever. It's just going to be the 2 of them. And so she's like, well, at least my flower, do you like my flowers? She goes, we can put them in water at least. And he goes, I don't like flowers.
I don't like flowers.
I don't know, for some reason, that was the funniest fucking thing to me.
Oh my
but
goodness.
As it's weird because we were joking about it while we're watching it. It's hilarious. But as I think about it
but
now,
when you repeat like the scenarios, they're just like, and especially when you take the scenarios and put them in front of people that are like completely not that.
Honestly, it's just,
riotous.
Well, the whole thing is just raising a
lot
of
questions.
You
like my flowers?
Yeah, sure. We'll put them in water. It'll be great. There's just so many questions it raises for me. Like the fact that what do you do if you have a family and half of them are Bloods and half of them are Crips? Like this is not a problem I have, but I'm curious as to what
you definitely don't want to go on Family Feud.
I am curious.
It's not good.
And then then yeah. See, there's a bunch of stuff that's not related to Love After Lockup in here. Food that calls so the guy he has like a beautiful smile with the exception of one missing tooth right here, which you can get like a denture for.
Yeah, in prison, if it hurts, they just pull it out. They don't do anything.
Which is like sad. They don't have good quality medical care, but neither do I. So fuck you. And then
there's that.
Trey says great quote, and then she says, do you think they have writers that tell them to say
God,
these
I hope so. Well, I don't.
There's definitely parts of it that seem like they're scripted, like
they set them up for things.
Sometimes it seems like they're reading cue cards. I'm not even gonna lie to you,
but I think there's but they do slide in these subtle little things. like there's little things that they drop in, like little camera shots and things like that. They're always talking about having sex for the first time, and they show the guy grab a hot dog off the grill and put it in a bun. Like it was like just the timing. You got to watch for it.
It's cheesy, and there's definitely stuff that like seems like it's very scripted. And but that's the problem with reality shows.
Yeah, I feel a little trashy watching it.
We're totally trashy for watching it, but it makes me feel a little bit better about my sad fucking life. By the way, today's my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday to Noelle. So today is a rough day for me, and so yeah.
And if we want to
watch fucking prison shows to make myself feel fucking better, then I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yeah, prison show.
And then Trey says, I would not even give my own uncle money. Good luck to someone behind bars. I will send you books. I did that. I had a friend that was in prison. I sent books. I said, I'll send a book a month. And then so that's what I did. I sent a book a month.
I sent a book with a file in it.
I got Hal Elrod. Shout out to Hal Elrod, writer of The Miracle Morning. Great book. And he actually sent a case of books to the prison.
No kidding.
Yep. Wow. Which was really nice of him.
Yeah, I know. Actually, the guitarist for the MC5, Wayne Kramer, is doing a thing based on a Clash song called Jail Guitar Doors, where they're bringing guitars and stuff to prisons so the prisoners can express themselves with music and et cetera, which I think is the
system is just so fucking broken because we don't have mental health services in this country. But the only mental health services we have is give everybody a fucking pill. Oh, but look at the side effects of the pills. I really wanted to just make this a fun and lighthearted podcast about making love after lockup, but now we're into this like deep conversation about like the prison industrial complex and mental health in the United States.
Well, there was that couple that made the love in a hole in the ground.
Oh, we'll get to that. All right. So let's just say, so that we can focus on the fun part of it, making fun of these people, and the terrible part of it, making fun of these people, is that the prison system is broken.
Yeah.
The mental health system in this country is broken, and we need better solutions, clearly. And if nothing demonstrates it, this fucking show does. Tracy says we need to do better in this country. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I think globally, but like, I guess if there's like a country, I think it was in Scandinavia, of course it is, where they put them all on an island and they can roam freely, but they have like responsibilities and whatnot. And like, they live a normal life because they're trying to help them to adjust to life on the outside. Because the reality is
Scandinavia, it's goddamn cold and a polar bear got to meet them. So that's like,
it's possible, but it was like a little village where they all had like their little houses and they had their responsibilities, and you know they live a normal life, because the thing is that a life in prison does nothing to prepare you for life outside. And like, we know people that have gone and they've gotten trainings and they've gotten classes, and you know, but they all come out with trauma from the prison experience because it's so poorly run.
So then we did realize that prisoners could be watching right now.
Well,
they could be big fans of this podcast in prison. We don't know.
I mean, I've seriously thought about like writing to prisoners just because I know that they're like lonely. I think about that, but then I'm like, I don't want to get scammed. But then I'm like, well, what if I need like somebody like murdered? Then I'd have know somebody that might know somebody. But I already know somebody that might know somebody. She was here on vacation last week.
I know. Well, I knew. Well, I don't anymore. But I knew somebody.
Have someone killed.
I knew somebody that could get you a hyena.
I would have done a long time ago. I knew somebody.
I was one guy away from being able to get a hyena, a black market hyena.
But my point is, if you have a hole in your mouth, tooth.
Just throw a chiclet in there.
Food comes out of it. I thought he should like shave down like a little chiclet and shove it in place, but that's not what he did.
Show some incentive.
And then
Tracy says she does like a good drama for making us feel better about ourselves. And the other thing, Tracy, you'd be a good person that to ask is, why are people so in like they go nuts for the true crime drama podcast thing? Why is that?
Was she supposed to know why because she does?
She's been to forensic camp or whatever she's done. So like, I think she
forensic camp.
No,
you're just like,
you would know.
You just like totally undermined her entire education.
I did. It was pretty funny.
He's joking.
Just like I tell our chiropractor friend that, what is that, like a 6-week correspondence course?
He has to be a shithead all the time. He can't help itself. She says, I do like a good drama for making us feel better about ourselves. Throw a chiclet in there, lol. Yeah, see, that's advice from Tracy. Right. Yeah. So one of the things that they came on the show was they said something was disrespectful. Like, you can't say disrespectful.
Oh, we thought it was like in the
And I think it's disrespectful when you don't put your, like, if it's disrespectful when you put your china in a china cabinet.
Yeah,
like right. My grandmother's china is disrespectful.
If it was the guy with the missing tooth down the bottom, he might not be able to say disrespectful. He can only say
the black lady. It was
disrespectful. Oh, okay.
But so, okay, can we talk about the Scott guy though? Just because, like, I feel like one of the quotes on the show is, "You might be an enabler." Like, you might. Like, no, they're all enablers.
Which was the Scott guy? Oh, the Scott guy was the one with the Lizzie, right?
Yeah. So this guy Scott,
older dude,
gives this woman not
the one that swallowed his tooth.
Yeah,
maybe.
He's given this woman $80,000, buys her a little, what was it, like a Mazda Miata or
like a little Mazda
that?
2-door like thing. I don't know.
Buys her a car, is giving her money while she's in prison, which she's using for drugs. And then her daughter comes on the show, and her daughter's all pissed at him. It's like,
yeah,
he didn't do the shit that she did.
He was
up for
put
10
away,
years.
and she was like 16, like when she got out or something.
19.
Right? 19. So she was 9 when she went in. Yeah,
it's
so
just
now
craziness.
Yeah, so it was a little insane.
Tracy's explaining something to us. She says, well, there are two sides of the brain: those that learn from crime to not get caught, and those that use it as education to catch criminals.
Which one are you?
A lot of people will tell you that there's a thin line between cops and criminals. It's interesting. And Tracy is laughing. I'm not saying that to be true. I don't know either. I really don't. Because I like to judge people, like, on the individual.
Yeah.
But in judging these individuals on this stupid show, they make stupid decisions.
By the way, we were watching Press Your Luck last night, and they were going to win a prize to CrimeCon. Was one of the prizes.
Yeah, I can't believe you guys watched it without me. That was rude.
It was unacceptable. It was unacceptable.
So the guy, words are hard.
Scott,
it's not been the best day for me. So Scott comes out. So he's given her $80,000.
Yeah.
And she is like, she literally grabs him at one point and is shaking him and goes, if you don't have, she took his credit card and bought $2,000 worth of clothes with her friend, bought her friend a bunch of clothes, and he bought her a car, and he didn't have any money, and he's broke, and he's trying to tell her he's broke. And she goes, if you don't have any money, what good are you to me? You have no purpose. You are no use to me if you have no money. And he still is like, I love her.
Like, I'm sorry, I don't have any money.
Back. And then there's this other guy.
Oh, Clint.
Oh my God, Clint. He seems like a nice guy from a nice Midwestern-ish family.
Oh,
they're like
mom and dad.
They seem like nice
amazing
people. They own a meat market. Like, they're nice.
Oh, they own a meat market. Very nice.
They're like nice people. And
hardworking.
By the way, is that bromulid not doing so well because of the cold?
I don't know.
Need to come inside.
Well, maybe I'll bring it in. Bromulid.
So,
sounds like a medicine from the 70s.
Maybe.
Take bromulid.
So she's like, so he is talking to this girl. She's in prison. Her name is Tracy, Clinton Tracy. And Tracy looked like hot in her old pictures.
In the old picture, yeah, not so bad.
And then she comes out and you're like, ooh. And her teeth were like really yellow, like that color yellow. Can you hand me that so I can show it to people? This is the color of yellow her teeth were. That's the color of her teeth were. And her hair, she had like this much roots. So he pays for her to go to a salon and get her hair done. So that's like $350.
He had a budget for when she got out.
And he bought her an engagement ring, and it was a beautiful ring. Oh, by the way, Scott bought the other chick an engagement ring too. Like, we're talking about like thousands of dollars. I don't have thousands of dollars engagement ring
because your husband's a cheap ass.
You're not a cheap ass. I'm not into that shit. And then
I'm a cheap ass.
You're not a cheap ass. And then
I drive a 15-year-old car. I'm a cheap ass. Just admit it. I use reusable bags at Trader Joe's. I'm a cheap ass.
You use reusable bags at Trader Joe's because your wife gives you a lecture if you don't. So can we just get back to the story?
Okay, Clint or Scott.
So Clint is like, he loves her, and they're going to get married the next day. So he takes her to the salon right from prison. She goes to the salon. She gets her hair done. Then she needs him to go to the store, gives him a list of things like the body wash she needs and the hair gel and toothbrush and blah, 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 and makeup. And then they're supposed to get married at this bar. And she shows up 5 hours late. Still marries her.
She shows up high as a kite.
So the next day, he's there and he's sobbing. And
he wakes up in the hotel. They go back to the hotel.
And it slowly all gets pieced together. Apparently,
she gone
on the way home but it gets pieced together. So apparently on the way home, she just wanted to stop and buy some drugs. So she bought some crack.
Okay.
And he went back to the hotel with her and put his head on her stomach while she smoked the crack. Then she woke up and decided she wanted more crack. And then he went on the couch and cried. And then he went left to go look for her or something. And she stole $100 from his wallet in his car,
the rental car,
which is a rental, and he doesn't hear from her for 3 days, and so he's like sobbing the whole time and like calling his mom, and she's like, Mom, she's on motherfucking crack. Like, this guy is like genuinely just like lonely.
Yeah, I feel really bad for him.
Desperate man, but she's doing crack, and he's like, but I love her, Mom. And it's like, dude, she's smoking crack. Like, if somebody is actively smoking crack, you have to fucking put a fucking healthy ass fucking 5 miles of boundary. You want to go to rehab? Fine. So we'll take you to rehab. That's it.
So the rental car company was charging what, $21,000 to $31,000?
They wanted $21,000, the full value of the car, because she just like she said she left it at the store.
And so finally she calls back. It's like, hey, where's the rental car?
I got arrested.
He goes, oh, I don't want to talk about that right now. Let's talk about that later. I was like, and then she goes, oh, I left it at the store.
And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. We'll talk about that later.
Talk about Meanwhile, it when we get out of prison.
Rental car.
And so now she's out of prison again. And they're like living together in a house that he bought, or she bought. He bought the house, or his family owned the house, and his family does not want to meet this woman because, understandably so. Then there's the one. Okay, so then there's these two chicks, Megan and Sarah, and they're both getting this guy Mike from prison. It's on the show. They're both getting him. They're both.
Oh yeah, it was very confusing. We didn't know what was going on.
We didn't even realize it at the time.
One was the wife and baby mama. The other was a virgin lady that was 24 years old. Yeah.
Tracy says there is a thin line between each. Oh, wait till you hear this. I do think that people genuinely think that they can fix the other person. Yes. People are fools.
Damn fool.
So this is what happened. What had happened was, so the one chick, Sarah, white lady, has a kid with this guy. He's like not attractive, like short, skinny black guy with braids.
No, he was like
nothing to offer. Literally nothing to offer.
Just like, dude.
So she she was pregnant, or she was pregnant, and they got married while he was in prison, and so then she had a baby.
The kid was like 4 years old.
And this, by the way, this is a young, beautiful girl. She's taking care of the baby. She seems to have family support. She's taking care of the baby by herself. He gets out of prison. They have sex unprotected. He doesn't even have a job, and she's ovulating, so because she wants to get pregnant. Meanwhile, the other chick who was flying in to meet him, he's like, oh, you know what? I got shit to do. And so
see you next week.
Let's connect in a couple of days. So he then leaves his wife and meets up with this girl, takes her to Niagara Falls, deluxe hotel suite, whatever, and proposes to her. Did he propose yet?
I don't remember.
But they were gonna get married. So then
there was a little de-virginization happening.
He deflowered this poor woman. So then she goes back to New York and is looking for an apartment and a place to live and wedding venues because she's going to marry this idiot.
By the way, this is Rochester, New York, not like
it wasn't like Brooklyn, like
which was funny because I have taken both Stacy and Wes, who was watching with us. I've taken both of them to Rochester, New York on occasion.
So she's taking him to get. They're off like checking out wedding venues. Then they end up going to the wrong place, and he ends up being late for probation again. So they take him back inside for 4 months.
4 months.
This woman has no idea.
They call it a bid, folks.
He's married. She thinks the other chick is just the baby mama. So then the baby mama is like, I'm going to confront this bitch because she finds out about it, because the baby mama has got the wool pulled over her eyes too. She believes all of his lies, and now she's pregnant. And so she's like, meets up with her, and she's like, you need to treat me with respect. I'm his wife. And she's like, I didn't know he had a wife.
I didn't know he had a wife.
But then she's given her attitude. And now they are both, by the way, this has been going on. He's about to get a release from prison again. And they are both still pursuing this man.
Yes, both of them.
And one of them is knocked the fuck up. She's like 9 months pregnant, about to give birth again. Then there's
it's like throwing good money after bad, folks.
It's unbelievable.
But it just keeps, like, when you think it's reached the ridiculous pinnacle.
But why am I subjecting what the biggest pain in the ass of my life is all the people I know that come to me for advice and choose to make shitty fucking decisions over and over again. You know who you are. And then I'm actively watching a television show where people make shitty decisions over and over, and it's like, God, I have there's a point in it where you stop having sympathy for these people.
Oh yeah, no,
like
yeah.
there's like, you start out
you start out having hope
like,
for
oh,
them.
he seems like nice. Oh, like that could be good. Oh,
Yeah,
that,
you
like
have a little, yeah.
maybe,
There's a little bit of that.
maybe, and
And
you're
then,
watching it and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then there's the one. So this one chick was a lesbian in prison.
Gets out,
as you do, and she gets out, and then
happens.
her old girlfriend had recently been released, but they were going to get married. But then they like swam around in the swimming pool together. But she's got this guy she's supposed to marry, and now she's pregnant with his baby. But she has a baby with her former baby daddy, who did time for selling meth, but he's out, and he and his girlfriend are raising the baby. So this kid calls any adult male or female mommy or daddy, all of them, like all of them. But they seem to be doing okay. But the best friend, the bunkie of the chick that just had the baby, is going back inside, and it could be for up to 30 years.
For a while, yeah. So it's a 30-year bid.
Just like I like, my life might be boring as shit.
Yeah, like it's
but like I don't have like a daily like, am I going to prison thing going on, right? Like, and
no, I don't think so. You have a daily am I going to hell thing, because you say some pretty outlandish things.
Yeah. And Tracy says, I pity the fool. I mean, listen, I could end up in jail one day, and I have ended up in Facebook jail many a day. Yeah. And not that I'm comparing Facebook jail to real jail, but you can make, people make mistakes, and sometimes they don't learn the first time they make the mistake. But like when you're watching this show, the prisoners are the people like it's the people that write to them that are like, you're like, what are you doing with your life? And then some of them seem to get their act together. With that K-Rock kid on this last season, like,
there's some of them that
get it together, and then there's the ones that don't. And what I know is relationships are hard. We're like best friends. Yeah. Despite our, podcast called Marital, we occasionally squabble and what have you. Relationships are hard. And in a perfect world, people would be like autonomous prior, happy and healthy in who they are prior to entering into a relationship. And we were, it's actually funny because like I certainly didn't want to be a single parent, but I was fine with doing that. Yeah. And I had, a beautiful home. I had my girls, I had friends. Like I was happy about that. And you were doing a great job. Or at least as good as you. Well,
it's funny. Like you kind of brought something like, hey, you could be doing this better or whatever. And hopefully I did the same for you. But
we definitely made each other better people and better parents. But I'm saying like relationships are hard enough. So we started off our relationship, like we both had like some stuff going on in our lives, but for the most part, we were doing okay. Like individually, like we were happy, well-adjusted for the most part, people that had been through some shit, but we were like functioning members of society. And so then we got together, and of course we tried to help each other with our various struggles. We tried to help each other's kids. We tried to do the right thing. And it's still been really fucking hard. Yeah. Like we've had a lot of shit thrown at us. Job losses, illness, custody shit, like you name it.
Hair turning gray.
You had to fucking deal with it. Like, why would you make it harder? Yeah. And that's that, but like these, like,
well, I don't know.
I just like want to like, so there's so many these people are so lonely that they're writing to prisoners. Write to prisoners, fine. Don't send them money though. And so here we are on the podcast today. If you want to send anybody money, send us money. We'll make good use of it. I don't know what we would do with it.
Some asshole out there is going to send 50 pounds worth of pennies.
That's okay. If you want to send me 50 pounds worth of pennies, you send me 50 pounds.
I wonder how much that is.
Cost you more to ship it than anything. But listen, I want people to like do better. I want everybody like, and you and I were talking about this the other day, like in everything that I do, absolutely everything I do, I try to do the right thing. Like, I don't think about myself. I should think about doing the right thing in every single thing that I do. Yeah. And how I interact with people. And I get that I'm regularly inappropriate and outlandish and I am foul-mouthed and what have you, but I'm generally a good person. And so I look at these people and I just like, I think what a waste, and I want them to do better. Yeah. But that like, but they're like, even with people in my life, and this is something that's actually a challenge for me, is that like, I have a lot of people that come to me for advice, and I will give them sound advice and like try to be there to support them. And they'll be like, oh, like they'll be in a situation where they just want to complain about it. They don't want to do anything about, which I don't even want to fucking hear. Like, if you have a problem you want to complain about and not do anything about, like, I'm not the person to fucking talk to. If you need to vent, that's one thing. But if you want to have a problem that you complain about till the end of fucking time, and you actually, there's people that enjoy complaining. I am not the person to talk to. And if you are somebody that is making the same poor decisions over and over and over and over again, I just can't watch you do it. I just can't. Well, actually, I have a friend who's in an abusive relationship. You know who I'm talking about. And I just couldn't watch it anymore. I just had to like, if he reaches out, I'll talk to him. But like, I set my limits because it's like, you just want to make poor decisions for yourself. And it's just not, I'm the average of the 5 people I spend the most time with. So I need to be spending my time with people who do better for themselves.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it does come up with, how you're brought up, the role models that you saw, what was accepted and stuff like that. And I was actually talking to,
disagree.
No, I think some of it has to do with that for sure. And,
yeah, but I'm watching these shows and I'm watching the people that are on them. And like, some of the people had it rough and ended up in trouble because of it. And some of the people, have not had the best role models in their lives. But some people have it really fucking shitty and they figure it the fuck out. And they try to do better.
And then, and there's some people that get handed everything and still end up
at the end of the day, what it comes down to is, are you taking responsibility for yourself? Are you trying to do your best? Because it doesn't matter what has been done to you or what you've had or haven't had. All I care about is that you're trying. And I have one friend in particular who has not had an easy life.
Yeah.
And they've made some decisions that I wouldn't make, but they're always trying to do better. And that's why I continue to be friends with this person.
Yeah.
Because they're not necessarily where I would want it. They don't make the decisions I would make, but they're trying to make better decisions. And that I respect. I respect it and I love it, so much. And Tracy said, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, because it has something to do with a second comment.
She says, and don't fall in love with them.
Damn fool.
Yeah, boundaries. Tracy says, and the good old nurture versus nature debate.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. I was talking to Tony the other day up front, and we were talking about like
Tony.
in my
Tony, our
car guy.
mechanic. Great guy.
We were talking
not
about
related to the prison experience at all.
Like in my day, like in me growing up, and this is the sweet spot of parenting. It's like you get your kids to not want to embarrass the parents, right? Like, I remember, like,
you used to say, don't embarrass the family.
And I used to say that, but like, it's like one of those things is like, you wouldn't want to like bring shame to the family, kind of a thing. Like, that was like the whole impetus to not be a shithead, like, I'm not gonna, but it's like one of those things. And like, if that's the basis for it, but if you don't have anybody to,
but I didn't have that. You didn't see me committing crimes.
You kind of did. I mean, you did. You knew your grandparents. I was
terrified that if I didn't behave, that if I wasn't a good girl, I wasn't going to be loved.
Right? Yeah. Which is kind of the same thing. Yeah.
That said, I've clearly gotten the fuck over that. I just do what I want to do now because nobody likes me anyway. What the fuck am I going to try to?
I like you.
Well, thank you.
But then again, maybe I write letters to you if you're in jail.
You write letters to other people. Tracy says, don't embarrass the family. Sounds like a good dare to me. Well, listen, I'm telling you, I got some.
That's why you get along with my wife.
I got two sets of grandparents rolling over in their graves right now because my hair looks like this. I have tattoos and I say fuck on the internet a lot, but
they don't even know what the internet was.
No, they do.
Oh, okay.
My grandfather I used to clean his porn off of his computer.
He had a little collection of photos and
God,
videos
love him.
And gifts.
Ooh, daddy. I don't know why I said daddy at the end of that. That was concerning.
Yeah, I don't know. You're off the thing.
My dreadlock has gone crazy. It's gone
that's called a hernia.
It does look like a little dreadlock hernia. So
that was the worst Bob Marley song ever. Dreadlock hernia.
I don't even know what to say about you.
But
like, I think like, if you're watching this and you come from, I've seen people who've come from a lot go very, very bad. And I've seen people who come from nothing go very, very bad. And I've seen like, it's not necessarily like some people will do well in spite of.
Right. Yeah. Right. And everybody reacts differently to.
And I mean, I had my grandparents, but I didn't because as much as they were there and it was better than what I was dealing with my parents, I was removed by the state.
Yeah, right.
And moved and sent to live with relatives more than once. So my grandparents, they were great, but like in a perfect world, they would have like fought for custody of me so that I had some more stability in my life. Yeah. And then when I moved to my dad's, it was basically like I was dead to my mom's family.
Yeah, and it was weird because like it sounds like even your grandparents were like, well,
my mom was the concern, not me.
Right. Yeah. So they had another layer of concern.
Well, because, but like, listen, do your best raising your children, but you're still going to fuck them up. We did our best, and we fucked up in many ways as parents. And, try to do better every day. Everybody just do your fucking best. And if you're out there and you come from, a shitty background where you haven't had,
who you are,
love and support that you need and deserve, you need to get, do your shit, get your life together for you. And also to say fuck you to the rest of the world. And if you're watching this show and you're from the prison experience, we believe that you can turn your life around. We've seen it.
I ain't giving you 90 grand though.
I'm not giving you. I don't have 90 grand to give you, but
if few people on the planet, I would.
But we know people. We personally know people who have gone through the prison experience and turned their lives around. So you can do it too. And they yes, in some cases they've had support, and in some cases they have not. And then we know people that have gone through the prison experience, had all the fucking support in the world, too much support, and they've been a fucking disaster. So, regardless of what anybody else does, it's up to you. What your life is, it's up to you.
Tell us who.
So, you know what? I don't have money, I don't have an education, I don't have this, I don't have that. There's always something you can try. And if you need an idea, if you're feeling down, you're watching this podcast and you feel lonely, if you're thinking about writing to a prisoner, we're here. We're here. I'm not great about getting on the phone with people. Actually, somebody messaged me last week and I'm like, I've had a migraine for the last 3 months. It's actually more.
It's a side effect of Skyrizi.
It's more. I don't take Skyrizi. It's more head pressure than it is a migraine lately. Right. Yeah. But
well, these crazy weather patterns have not helped. There's
I felt like
full moons. There's been new moons.
I felt like I was on twilight sedation all day today. I was just drooling.
You actually sound better right now than you have all day. You sound like.
Well, that's because I got a lot of fucks out of my system while I was talking to Instacart.
Well, you did.
Nolan called. The cafeterias at school are closed, and he's doing the RA over the winter thing, and he needed money for food. And I'm like, okay, I'll order you an Instacart order. And Instacart totally fucked up the order, and so then I ended up having to send him cash, and now I have to do another fucking order. It's just it's bullshit. So yeah, I got a little angry.
So we got him
and then Stop and Shop wouldn't let me place an order over the phone.
Rice cakes.
Stop and Shop would not let me order. Stop and Shop would not let me place an order over the phone.
I know. Yeah.
They wouldn't let me buy a gift card over the phone. I'm like, it's the year 2024. They're like, well, you can just come to the store. I'm like, if I could come to the store, I would just buy him fucking groceries.
We would just go pick him up and feed him. God damn it.
That was infuriating.
Yeah, that was
I had forgotten it was Noelle's birthday, and then I found out that it was, and I got really depressed. And then
no, we're not going there.
And then trying to fix Nolan's order.
And then there was prisoners and the world that we were trying to fix, and I'm
going to go back to the prisoners because
to some goddamn people.
Because I don't know, because it makes me feel like I don't know. Maybe I could maybe what we're doing has enough of a positive impact on the world that one person will watch it and not end up back in prison,
it's
or
like
not
when a
go
butterfly
to prison,
flaps
or not,
its wings in Africa,
not enable, or not maybe something that'll come of it. Yeah. Not who the fuck knows. But I do know that I haven't been feeling well. And I've really been pushing it with lots of company. Mm-hmm. And we did the podcast tonight. And I wanted it to be a big fucking funny ass recap of that ridiculous show because there's so much to it. And it's like, what are you doing? What did you just say? What is happening here? But
it's a head shaker is really what it was.
It ended up being more as we said it, and that's what happens. Sometimes you think you're going to talk about something and how funny it is. But when you realize it was actually really sad. My eyes are burning like crazy now.
That's the Tabasco I put in.
Can you read the comments while I rub my eyes?
Let's see.
Do you know how to read?
Yes, I love you guys. I have to learn the hard way on just about anything. And Tracy says, you keep me here and not committing homicide. So we are doing well for the world. If she's not watching us 1 hour a day, she's out there. I don't know what she's doing. Okay. She knows how to get away with it too.
I do not know what is happening, but my eyes are burning really bad. Tracy, I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming to the podcast. And thank you for always supporting us. I'm sorry I didn't even have to do the rest of the podcast like this, but it hurts. My nose is very stuffy. So I'm just going to go like this for the rest of the podcast. It's
like the see no evil thing.
No, it burns.
What did you do?
I don't know. So I'm thankful that I'm thankful for Tracy and always supporting the podcast. I'm thankful for all the people that do watch the podcast. I'm thankful that we're able to stream to Instagram now. I'm thankful that we had a good time with Wes. I'm thankful I was able to send Nolan a little cash so he could get something to eat tonight at least, and then we'll figure out the fucking food order tomorrow.
Yeah.
That definitely did not go the way I wanted it to.
Tracy says, Doug, go get her eye drops or saline to rinse her eyes out.
Well, we're finishing up.
We're finishing up. We're grateful. Grateful. Wes has boarded his plane, and that weather really didn't have impact either end of his flight, like it did millions yesterday. And
does everybody have power back?
Yeah, hopefully everybody. I don't know.
Maybe they don't. That's why
I haven't. Yeah, there's not a lot of people from Massachusetts tonight, as a matter of fact. So,
who the fuck knows?
So hopefully they're doing well. I'm grateful for you and all that you do for me and my children and the world at large. Really is what it is.
I'm grateful that you have made many meals and
including tonight's delightful. Dinner was the French onion soup chicken.
I'm grateful for tonight's delightful dinner, and I'm thankful that you're going to take care of me when we get inside because I have nothing left, and I'm going to be in like a little puddle in the floor. And
all right, so I'm gonna go hose her face down, like she's being waterboarded.
And tomorrow we will try to be a little bit more lighthearted, and we'll discuss fun things that I have in my notes. Like,
and Tracy says she's thankful for us because we make her laugh and keep it real, chicklet. That was tonight's best.
Donna just texted something.
Oh, Donna said something.
What phone company did you go to, and is it expensive?
We're solving the world's problems one phone call, one text at a time.
No, people always calling me with problems. Okay, so we'll have tomorrow's podcast. In tomorrow's podcast, we can talk about such fun things as the poop hole loophole as it applies to the gays.
Okay.
Giving myself Xanax, and which I haven't done, but I think I should, especially after today. And the surest way to destroy a clan is to destroy the Brennan and other, fun things that I have.
The Brennan?
Yeah, it's from the Outsiders show.
Oh, okay. All right.
So there you go.
Excellent. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. It's freezing here. Bye. We're going in. See ya.